Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember what we was gonna talk about. My name is Top Man, aka Teddy Crucifix, aka your pastor's favorite rapper.
It's done kind of loud.
Oh, that's cool. And we got on the ones and twos, we got Byron L. Cogdell with the Humble Beast shirt. You want to talk about your shirt, bro?
Shout out to Humble Beast,
For
man.
the people that don't know about Humble Beast.
Man, you gotta tell them about Humble Beast, man. Hold on, let me get a little shot of this Humble Beast shirt. You can't even see it, really.
If you stand, oh, I see it. We move the mic.
Yeah.
You see the humble? There we go. Humble Beast.
I'm tired of being humble. Nah.
Oh wow.
Hey, that's some friends of mine. We had that joke, tired of being humble. I feel like you got to be tired of being humble at some point.
I don't think Kendrick Lamar is, and he will beg to differ, actually.
Well, Kendrick Lamar isn't on the scene, so we don't even know where that guy
Because
is.
he's being humble.
Yo.
His whole career is based off of being humble. This man be so low, he'll drop an album and go back into his cocoon.
You think so?
Bro, I mean, I don't know what this man's personal. You don't know what nobody's personal life is like unless you're personally in relationship with them. So
that's true.
I'm speaking from the outside looking in. Well, but Kendrick, if you want to form a friendship, hit me up on Instagram or TikTok, and we can make this happen. TD Talk Dog, let's make this happen.
Oh yeah.
We in there.
There we go. Shout out to Top.
But
I don't even know who Top is.
Pause.
Come on, bro. You wildin'.
Big wildin'.
We need a you wildin' drop. You wildin'.
Listen, so this
Matter of fact, hold on. Let me say this jump without no background so I can sample it. You wildin'. There we go.
I try not to laugh in the mic. Y'all know I laugh a lot. So what I was gonna say, we were talking about, so right now, I feel naked because I was rushing here and I left my Apple Watch at the crib. And I feel like I'm in the Garden of Eden right now.
Oh, that's terrible.
Why are you saying the Garden of Eden? I feel like I'm naked right now.
That is horrible.
So the story I was going to say is I messed up a set of AirPods.
Oh, yeah?
Like I was at work. I was real hot. I wasn't thinking because the AirPods in my ears at work. So I just poured the water down my head. I was trying to cool. Yeah, trying to cool down.
You wildin'.
Definitely wilding. And so as I said, I forgot. So I'm working and the left ear, I just said, and it just went totally out. And I was like, oh, man. So, as we were talking about, because Byron says he has a crack on his Apple Watch, and he said he's going to get it fixed. But
never going to send it in.
Because he can't live without, not that he can't live without the watch, you just feel naked without the watch.
Never going to
I went to Best Buy for the Apple Care. I was like, yo, because I have Apple Care. I was like, can y'all get my, AirPod fixed? They were like, yeah, but you ain't gonna have your AirPod for about 2 weeks.
I'm straight.
So you know what I did? I bought another AirPod.
Hey,
I just bought it. Yeah, I was like, I'm not finna wait. I just bought another AirPod.
Just buy some more AirPods.
Because I'm not finna wait 2 weeks.
Let me tell you something about Apple, man. I love Apple. I have a love-hate relationship with Apple.
I do too.
They make me want to cuss like a lot of days, man, because it's like their products are so amazing until they break. Then when they break, it's just like you got to make so many choices. Like, I got these old AirPods right here, matter of fact, and these just are terrible. Like they do not work for me. And then I got somebody gifted, actually, my wife's cousin gifted me a pair of the new ones, and they're dope until they just stop working. Like
what you mean by they just stopped working?
Bro, they won't connect to my phone. Like it's crazy. And then when I have them connected, none of my audio stuff works. So I can't listen to Spotify or watch YouTube or nothing.
I was about to say the same thing, but I think I told you this. So when I connect, no, it's not the AirPods. When I connect my Apple Watch, I don't get any notifications. Everything goes to the watch, but I'm on that loud truck. I have on AirPods, it's like I don't get a notification. So I'll go all day thinking I ain't got no text messages. Text messages galore.
Did you upgrade your phone to the newest iOS, like iOS 15?
I did.
I honestly think it's something wrong with iOS 15.
And either that or the 14, because I got my phone when 14 came out, and they were saying the same thing. So yeah. See, that could be it.
Ever since I updated my phone, like I have my phone, my watch, and I recently got an iPad for Father's Day, and I have them all synced together, and they almost never work. Yeah, I mean, like it's terrible. It's terrible.
Just like you said, bro. So Apple, y'all got to get it better. Like we both have a love-hate relationship with y'all.
We love you. We love you. So get it right.
All right, so thank y'all for joining in on this episode of He's the Pastor on the Rapper Podcast.
Hey, before we get too far, I gotta say something right now. Y'all know my favorite Christian rapper right now is Swoop. So I gotta play some Swoop. Hey, how long can we play this before they shut our video down?
1 second, but we already played it, so let's go. I'm gonna bob my head like I can hear it.
We gonna say that about it. You can't hear that?
I can now.
Okay. Yo, shout out to Swoop. I already done gave him plenty of shout outs on Twitter, but yo, I love Swoop. He's a great artist, and he just dropped the album, and it's dope.
So how do you feel about the album?
I love the album. I've listened to it, I think, every day since it's come out.
I think I got on it Friday.
I remember we talked to you. Yeah,
Friday.
I was like, dang, bro, you ain't heard Swoop yet?
It's hard.
That junk is hard. What?
It's hard. Yeah.
I want to give a full review.
That's why I let up.
Later.
I let up.
Yeah, but were there any things that shocked you about Swoop's album? Were there any things that disappointed you? Were there any things that were different? Were the same? Like what stood out to you?
Let me big it up before I say my true response. So Swoop, as you said, is a phenomenal artist and a phenomenal rapper.
Yep.
I was well pleased with the totality of the album. He had good bars on there. The production was good, but overall it was a great project. I think I actually listened to it twice back to back. Yeah. I haven't done that to an album in a while. Besides Doja Cat. Doja Cat had a really good album too. I know Doja Cat tripping because with her personal stuff.
Wow.
No, her album.
How many times I'm gonna say that in the episode? That's gonna be the title of the episode.
You wildin'. Bro, I'm not gonna encourage you to listen to it. I'm just giving you my perspective. I'm big on music, you know that. Yeah. That's probably one of the best albums I've heard in a while.
I'm good on Doja.
Anyway, I'm not saying but so back to Swoop, it was a good album.
I dig it.
I'll say that. Yeah.
My test on whether something is a good album is if I can run to it, and because I know if I'm gonna go run, I usually do like 4 miles or something. Run, walk.
This man a true
run,
a true
walk,
athlete.
Walk. I'm doing a lot of walking, but I gotta be out at least an hour, do about 4 miles, and it gives me an opportunity. I want to listen to it straight. And Swoop, he has that where you just like listen to that junk straight. So I'm like, yo, this is tough. And put in work, put in. I had to stop walking and start running when I heard that junk. But then, bro, I was running. It was only one thing that caught me off guard, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sitting there listening to a song and somebody cussed, and I was like, whoa.
Yep.
Cussing on the Christian rap CD.
I was gonna let you bring it in. That's why I ain't say nothing.
Hey, but again, the album was fire. It just caught me off guard. It caught me off guard, man.
Okay, so now let's get into the episode. Listen, so Natalie Lauren, I'm not shocked at her saying it because in the past she's been I didn't want to say wild. She's made that decision to make secular music, and I respect that because she told us that she's going to make secular music.
Right.
I was more so shocked that Swoop. All right, she didn't say the word on the album, but you got the meaning. You know what I'm saying? So I was shocked when I was more so shocked that Swoop was like, we could put this on the album.
But that's his homie though. Like, if you bring your homie on a song, like, don't you give them creative liberty to kind of do what they want?
But at the same time, you my homie, right? I'm not married, so you're not going to talk about certain things around me because you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, and you my homie, so I hear what you're saying.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it.
Yeah, like I hear what you're saying, but it's like, bro, like if you really my homie and you know what I'm doing, it's like I'm never going to tell. I have secular artist friends. I'm not going to if you want to collab, I'm not going to tell you to water it down. But I'm gonna have the liberty if I want to put this song out or not. You don't put every song out that you record for an album.
That's true.
Or there's different ways you could have gone about doing it. So again, when I heard that song, I wasn't shocked that Natalie Lauren said that. She's been doing stuff like that. I was more so shocked that this song made the album.
Yeah, I dig that. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, again, I'm telling you, I hesitated a little bit, but I didn't put a lot of thought behind it because, I was just like, all right, this is where we at. Like, and I don't think I'm completely comfortable with it, but I kind of understand. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where I want to hear.
So your understanding with the.
I wouldn't say understanding. I think I'm tolerant.
Of where Christian hip hop is going.
Oh no! I think that's a whole other phase.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It.
So I apologize. I'm putting words in your mouth. We're just talking about Swoop's album right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, not just Swoop's album, but like the idea that a Christian artist can have cursing or simulated cursing, because like that seems to be the thing now. Like, correct. Not the actual cursing, but the simulated cursing on an album. Does that add value? Does that take away value? Like, what is that?
It depends on the audience, though.
Yeah. So for me, I think at that very moment, it caught me off guard. But I was like, yo, I'm a little tolerant of it because of the subject matter of the song and how the totality of the song, to me, wasn't obliterated by a simulated cuss word. You know what I'm saying? But you and I had this conversation because I think it was only a couple weeks ago that I found out that you don't cuss.
Correct. I don't. And I have my reasons for that. Like I understand not just cursing, but words. It's more so about the intent of how you use the word. Like I can say I love you, but in my heart I can hate you. So it's more so about like God knows our heart. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's people that's, again, you could say you love someone, but you know deep down in your heart you hate them. Yeah. The intent behind what you said was it sincere, and that was more harmful than anything. Maybe that person didn't know, but God knows your heart. So I'm more so about I understand words, and it's more so on how you use the word. So like, and it's crazy. I think I have a different perspective now than what I would have had if we would have did this podcast 2 weeks ago. Really? Because I was gonna come with another angle. I don't know if the Holy Spirit was just like, no, we need.
Is that something that you're like, I don't even want to share that? Or?
No, I can share it. So, all right, beforehand, I think my first time wrestling with like, not even wrestling, I guess mostly trying to understand like, why would someone want to use profanity or cursing, Christian or non-Christian? And I was, trying to understand that. I think that conversation first came from Andy Mineo. I forgot what album it was, but he said the D word on one of his albums. And I remember the Christian hip hop community was like tripping like crazy.
So to you, the D word, and you already told me this, but to you, the D word is a cuss word.
It's the intent on how you use the curse word. I'm the person, I'm trying to see how you're using the word. Right. So when I first heard Andy say that word, I actually wasn't tripping because I don't know if you even heard that song. We could play it afterwards. I don't want to play it now if you never heard it. But just to give context, he was talking about his father not being in his life.
Yeah. That was a good song.
It was a good song. Like I teared up when I heard it for the first time. But like besides like just the emotion that he put in that song, I could understand why he would use that word in that in not even just that song, just in the normal, like conversation or whatever like that. Like that was, it was an expression, and that word I felt it fit the expression of what he was trying to portray. I didn't have a problem with it at that time. I feel like now I have a problem with it because I feel like as an artist, there's other ways you can get your expression out without, I don't want to say watering down or stooping down. I don't know. I feel like I'm at for a lack of better words, I feel like as an artist, if you know your intended demographic, there's certain ways that you need to come about saying things. With Andy Mineo, with him and Christian hip hop artists, with the majority of your fan base being young, impressionable people, I feel like there's just another way that you can express this emotion without.
Yeah, but so now we're kind of in the mode of talking about responsibility, because like, what about the fact that the artists have the opportunity to create whatever art is most genuine to them? Because I feel like that's the direction we've seen people go in, right? Like, matter of fact, I think that's the direction that Christian hip hop is in, where like people are choosing being genuine over choosing being like role model-esque, right? Or choosing being authentic over choosing being like authoritative, like creating a standard for people to kind of live within or live under. And you see Lecrae doing it. You see Andy kind of, I won't say he led in it, but I think Andy started it and did it better. And then Lecrae kind of followed. Even Swoop, like Swoop in this last album. Swoop has kind of been there a little bit, but I recognize some of the things he was saying in the last album that could get people a little upset. And now we're seeing a whole nother generation. We talked about this before, of guys who don't have the theological acumen or foundation that these guys have, but they're trying to be authentic, which makes it like confusing because you are not just sacrificing your influence on the younger generation, but you're actually leading them in a direction that is wrong.
Correct. Yeah. I just, we're giving our opinion. So I pray that whoever listens to this podcast, I pray that you don't take what we're saying wrong, because I know there's a small potential I may start ranting, and I know I get passionate when I rant. Yeah. I just want a preference. I'm saying all this with love, seriously. For some of these artists I may talk about, I'm really genuinely saying this as an example for other people that's listening to your music, so they could just get a different perspective and choose wisely, I guess, off of that. So I'm not coming at you if I say anyone's name or use your song reference. It's more so as an example piece.
He's the hater, I'm the hater podcast.
That's definitely what is coming. This podcast. Yeah. But to get back to what you're saying, so with the trying to stay genuine with your artistry, I feel like artists, including myself, need to be careful with that, because when you say that scares me. Are you doing this for you, or are you doing this for God's glory? It scares me, bro. So it's when I hear I'm trying to stay genuine or stay true to myself, it scares me. I catch myself saying, it's like, what are you doing this for?
And what people will say is like, I'm doing it because you never know who could be inspired by this. But like, it's not really, it still has an emphasis on you and your story, and people could be inspired by it, but they could also be led astray by it, right? So,
and that's the scary thing about art. That's like, because art is relative to the person taking or looking at it. So, yes, you may be inspiring, and again, me and you are mature in the faith, so we can look at it. We
are maturing in the faith.
There we go. We're maturing in the faith, so we can look at something or hear it, and for the most part, get the heart behind it. These young cats or these younger people listening to it that's not as mature, you don't know how they're going to take that in. Yeah. That's where it becomes scary. So it's like, again, if you're truly saying that you're a Christian artist, I just encourage you to focus more so on the Christian aspect of it while you're making your art, and keep that central, instead of being so focused on, I'm trying to stay genuine to myself. I'm trying to stay true to myself. I shouldn't have to water down my art for the sake of, the demographic that I'm trying to reach. You tread some scary waters when you do that, especially as a Christian artist. Now, if you're a secular artist, and I guess I want to talk about that too. I feel like a lot of these Christian artists now, it's like you're towing the line between Christian and secular, and it's like, again, like Natalie Lauren, if you're trying to make secular music but you're a Christian, be honest and say, like, be honest with yourself. Go ahead.
I think for her specifically,
and I don't know her whole story, so go ahead.
Shout out to Natalie. I love your music. I love all her artistry. I follow her on everything, but I think for her, she's very clear about the fact that she's not making music for Christians. Okay. I think she's just an artist. She wants to express herself, and I believe she still I believe she still identifies as a Christian, and I believe she still worships as a Christian, and I pray that she still lives as a Christian. So I don't think that she is a good example of the type of person that maybe we're wrestling with a little bit more.
No. I feel like that's a great example of what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
These Christian artists that's coming up right now.
So be more like her.
Yeah, be upfront with what you're doing, because that's where it gets confusing. You're saying there's some artists. Rapzilla just had a freshman 10 class this past weekend in Atlanta.
Oh, here we go.
And there's some artists that was on that docket. All right. Rapzilla it's a Christian hip hop media, so If I'm wrong, Rapzilla or anybody that represents Rapzilla, to my knowledge, you guys are Christian hip hop media. You're a Christian media outlet. So with that being said, if I want to check on some artists that's in that space, in the Christian space, I'm going to go to Rapzilla for the most part. If that's not y'all angle no more, please let me know. But that's my assumption. That's what it was in the past. I don't know if it's changed. Rapzilla. So with that being said, so if I know Rapzilla has a freshman 2021 class, and I want to see who these new up and coming Christian hip hop artists are, and I go to and I check them out, and some of them are sounding like the world, that's confusing to me.
What do you mean by the world, though?
Okay, you're cursing or you're putting words, you're bleeping out your cursing, you're talking about your struggles with girls and all that stuff. Again, and there's nothing wrong with your struggle, but if there's no resolve with your struggle, and you just talking about, I'm doing all this stuff with girls, this, that, and the third, Jesus think my music is the ish, you're saying stuff like that, and there's no it's more so about self. Okay, that's a problem to me. So you about to get in your bag, and I ain't trying to interrupt you, but like let me ask you directly, very directly, because again, you said how you move, but I want to hear your opinion about this. So do you believe that Christians, or no, let's just say with Christian artists, and then we'll go to Christians. You don't believe that Christian artists should curse in their music? If you're saying you're a Christian artist, I don't think you should be cursing. Okay. And I have my reasons for that. There's a standard in American society about, all right, when you go to a movie, there's different ratings. Mm-hmm. There's a G rating, there's a PG rating, there's a rated R and NR, something like that. Yeah. There's a standard in on the radio. You don't hear curse words on the radio. So if America has a standard for clean types of media or entertainment, Christians have a standard as well. And I'm not saying that you should be clean for the sake of this is how the world looks at me, but that's just how, if you read the word, there's certain ways that we should be acting as Christians. Yeah. So with that being said, I do not think that Christians should be cursing or doing certain, saying different. I'm trying to.
There are certain things that are just out of line for Christians, right? Yes. There's certain language that we just shouldn't use, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And artistry, like, does artistry change that? Like, are there things that Christian artists should be able to say because they're expressing themselves on a different level than the standard Christian?
Explain. So I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing.
So should a Christian artist be able to use cursing to express themselves more creatively than, let's say, a Christian who is not into artistry and they're just kind of living their life and they're hanging out, having regular conversations, and they're using these words just kind of sparingly?
Okay. But
let me add some context to this.
Okay.
Right. So you talked about Andy. So the momentum in that song is the emotion about how upset he is about his dad letting him down. So when he uses a curse word, it actually kind of works as like a exclamation point. It adds to the emotional roller coaster that you're on, because you're like, yo, if Andy cursed, he must have really been upset about this.
Correct.
Right. So that's how it works itself out in artistry. Is that still wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
As a Christian artist, yes, that's wrong. And like I said, when that song first came out, you would have got a different answer from me. I was actually rocking with what he did. I thought it was dope. But I was also struggling too. Yeah. But yes, I do think that is wrong. Because you're a Christian first. Now, again, as I was saying, if your audience is different and you're not trying to target Christians with your music or whatever like that, by all means, do what do what you're trying to do with your artistry. Like, reach the right people. Like, I feel like it's going to get to a point where Christian artists are trying to pimp the church.
Ooh. Like, whoa. What do you mean by that?
That's what it's coming across. Like, you want the demographic, you want the audience of the church.
Yeah.
But you don't want the accountability and the standard that comes with it. Yeah. And that's not cool. Yeah. it scares me, man. Like, I've been talking to you about this for like 2 weeks. It's just I don't like the road I see Christian hip hop now. And before I keep going on this rant, there's a lot of dope Christian hip hop artists out there that stand true to what a Christian hip hop artist or what a Christian artist is. I want to thank you for doing that. The KBs, the Wandays, the Hovies, the Caleb Gordons. There's the list of people like the Lamar Riddicks.
Let me add some let me add to that. I would say that there are a host of Christian artists, even though they have included these things. I'm not saying that they're not good artists. So like,
definitely.
There's Andy Swoop. We've seen these things in their artistry, and we're not saying that their artistry isn't good because of it, and we're definitely not saying that they're not Christian because of it.
Correct.
It's just us discussing this topic for the sake of those who are wrestling with this, or those who have not talked about this, or those who are trying to figure out where they should be when it comes to using particular language.
Correct. And for the people that may not get where we're coming from, if you're the president of the United States, there's a standard that you have as the president of the United States. There's certain things that you can't do when you become the president of the United States. You can't just walk down to McDonald's and just order a number 2. In DC, there's a protocol. Like if you want McDonald's, you probably got to send Secret Service down there to do it because of your prominence as the person who you are as the president. I don't know. Maybe that's not such a great example. I was trying to go somewhere with it. I'm a little riled up, so I'm trying to calm down. So it's but that's if you. I don't know, man. I'm trying to calm down because I don't want to be like the angry rapper. Yeah. And it come across as all this dude is hate because he's not. I don't want to come across as that. So I'm really trying to choose my words wisely.
Yeah. Well, cursing is like one of those weird things that people feel like falls under the branches of Christian liberty, right? So it's like, you shouldn't tell people that they can't drink because the Bible doesn't say don't drink. You shouldn't tell people they don't curse because the Bible doesn't say don't curse. And I would like press against that. I think cursing and drinking are in two different areas. Like, I don't think they both fall under Christian liberty. And it seems like that there's like these two camps, right? They're like a fundamentalist type camp that says, no, if you curse, you're going to heck. Like, they don't even want to say hell.
And I don't agree with that.
If you curse, you're going to heck, right? Like,
I just got what you did.
Like, and then there's this other side that's like, no, like, if I use these terms in a way that is not like just loose, then I'm fine, right? Like, if I use these terms in a way that's just kind of an expression of my, of me being upset or me, whatever, then it's just fine. And I think now people have even created like categories of curse words that you can and cannot use. Yep. Like, it's like certain words like, you can't use that one, but you can use the D word, and I'm gonna be just honest with you. Like, there are certain times where I do curse and I have cursed. I will say that. I won't say do curse. I'm not gonna say it's something I want to make a practice of. There have been times where I've used words that, like the D word, right? Where I'm like, oh, this is a junior level cuss word, right? But there are also almost always I repent of that because I understand that there's something else I could have said. And there's something that I am communicating about how this situation had power over my speech and how I reacted to a situation. Instead of speaking life into it, I spoke something else into it. So, it's weird where things stand and how things go, because I think people naturally feel like if you become a Christian, like let's say a guy off the street right now, especially like, our context, right? A guy off the street comes to know Jesus right away. One of the things he's going to ask about or she's going to ask about is cussing, because like that seems to be one of the things that defines holiness, in the sense of like when people come to know Jesus, here are the list of things they stop doing. They try to stop having sex outside of marriage. They try to stop drinking and smoking, and they try to stop cussing. Right. So like, how do we disciple people through that? Like, how do we talk people through all of these things? And what's the biblical basis for all of this? Because, again, I think a lot of people just throw it in the realm of legalism. Like we tell people right now, don't cuss. You shouldn't cuss. People are gonna be like, yo, why you being so legalistic? But here's the funny thing. I'm about to get on a rant. Here's the funny thing about legalism, right? Legalism is based off of what is perceived to be legal and fighting against what is illegal, right? So laws in themselves are not bad. Laws are good. Like laws are here to protect us, to keep us from falling into something that's even worse, right? It's when we become obsessed with these laws that it becomes a problem, right? So if you are on that fundamental side where you're like, yo, if you curse, you're going to hell, I'd be like, bro, ease up a little bit. Like you going too far with that.
You tripping.
But if you're on that other side where you claim to love Jesus as your savior and you want to live your life completely in him and then you just letting him fly, it's like, bro, I think you got a problem. I think you're missing something. Like the t-shirt that I hate the most is that t-shirt that said, not the most, but that's an exaggeration. But one of the things I hate seeing is when people say that t-shirt that says, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. It's like,
I've never seen that.
What?
I've never seen that.
That's like a big deal, man. And I get it. And I just admit it. I have cussed too. But man, why take pride in that? That's not something to take pride of. Like when Peter cussed, like he almost like gave it all up. He's like, yo, I cuss, like I'm done, bro. So these are not things we should take pride in at all.
And I guess just to piggyback on what you said, like language, it's your society gives the importance to words or what. Like, truth be told, there was a statistic I read. Like over the next 20 to 30 years, the words that we deem as curse words now won't be curse words. And I forgot the trajectory of what they said will be curse words later on. But you can start to see that because on TV now, they let the S word fly. You can say the B word like crazy.
Bro, I mean, they're using these words on family
That's what I'm
shows.
saying.
Like they're using the D word on cartoons.
It's desensitized. That's what I'm saying. So to us, it's like, what are y'all doing? But the generations coming up, it's going to become a norm in society. So it's not going to be that much. So that's for the people that's like using these words. Like, bro, we give words meaning and we give it that's a bad word or not. God is more so looking at the heart. He's not saying I can't let you into heaven or the kingdom of heaven because you said that word. It's like, what did you mean when you said that word? Yeah. So. Bro,
even in secular rap, like that. ASS ain't even a cuss word no more.
It's not.
And it's funny because I was about to kick off our podcast reading Numbers 22 and 21 where it says, and Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab.
That got to be the King James version.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm about to say that's not CSB.
What's funny is I've heard people say, well, there's cursing in the Bible. Like the word ass is in the Bible. The word damn is in the Bible. Where hell is in the Bible.
There's also killing and stoning in the Bible too. So you're gonna do that too, like, bro, like when I hear people say that, it's like, bro, like I get what you're saying, but just because it's in the Bible doesn't mean you, like, again, as we keep saying, context. Yeah, context.
Because we're taking those words and we're giving them meanings that they've never had in history, right? Yes. Like we're at. This is literally what the enemy does. He takes something, he doesn't have to create anything new. He just takes something that already exists and he deforms it in such a way that we grab hold to it and then we make it a whole new thing, right? So like if you're out there right now and you're using, we walk down the street and somebody's donkey is running out of their house. You're like, yo, there's an ass running out of that house. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, you cuss, you're going to hell. Right. Somebody's going to trip just for me saying this.
Oh, no, bro, trust me. And out of respect.
Nah, clip it up.
Oh, you gave me that. Because I wasn't going to do it out of respect for you. But, boy, we wanted to go out of here. This is going to be the podcast. We want to take
canceled. Cancel. Some people might think we're cool after that. Some people might cancel us. But if somebody says like, man, anybody who does these things are damned to hell. Right?
But you use it in context.
Like you're using it in context. This is the same way Jesus would have used it, right?
Use it in context.
But when you say, yo, I don't give a
exactly.
It's like, whoa. you're going a little bit
like,
too
what did
far.
you mean when you said that? You understand? So
break that down. What you're saying, because you've said that. That's kind of been like a repetitive thing for you. Like it's what it means in the heart.
This was going to be my original angle when we were going to do this the first time. Because I was going to be the devil's advocate. I made it in my head. I was like, bro, I'm finna push back because I already know the way you finna come. I'm about to go the total opposite way. So what I was going to say, like, all right, you know, in our community, when girls see each other, they be like, you know, like their intent behind that, it's an endearing. It's a term of endearment. They're not being ill to each other. Well, I don't think, you know, because some of them may, but for the most part, when you look at it, they're not being demeaning. That it's like it's a term of endearment. I don't, in that context, when those girls are saying that, I don't look at that like, oh, that's a bad thing what they're doing. I don't. So that does go against the scripture that you said. That's why I said it's changed. But you was like the harsh joking and stuff like that. Yeah. When I heard you say that is really what made me change my angle about. Because if you would have never said that scripture, I was going to go I was going to go with it's about the setting of how you're using it. Yeah. Like, again, like if someone I don't know, you had a basketball game and it's like somebody make a adult shot, you're like, oh, L, and you screaming it. There's no ill intent behind what you say. It's a form of expression. Yeah. And you really felt it. That was like in your mind, that was the best way to get out this expression. Like, oh man, he made the shot. And you just, you exuded that word. And again, I was gonna go with the angle, like, I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah. Even as at that time, I was gonna say, as a Christian, I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm doubling back on that now. I do see a big issue with that, but I'm not gonna be like, say a Christian is struggling with that, and I'm with them and they do that. I'm not gonna be like, bro, you're going to hell. You need to chill. I'll probably talk to this. Hopefully, if I'm at a basketball game with them, I have a relationship. So it's like, I know that's a struggle that you're having. So over time, I'll bring that up. I probably wouldn't say anything there. I'll be like, oh, all right, that's something you struggle with. We'll probably go out to eat next week. It's like, hey, bro, last week at the game, I heard you say that. Like, you be cursing like that?
And once again, we say this almost every episode. This is for people who identify as Christians.
Yeah.
And we're in their lives, right? Like, we say this every week. They identify as Christians and we're actually in their lives. Correct. We're not trying to give this just to any Joe Blow. Like, I'm not sending this in a DM to some random dude.
Cause that's not my, thank you.
That's not my, I'm not, I hadn't been placed in their life to do that, but
that is not,
I have no authority over it. Well, that's a whole nother episode.
Okay. But we can give all the opinions we want. That doesn't mean that our opinions is true. Right. And you don't have to rock with it. That's the great thing about an opinion. But yeah, so in that example, that's what I would do. I want, like, all right, it's like, all right, I know you're using this word now. I'm going to pray about it, and I'm gonna bring it up another time to see why do you use these words, and probably encourage you. But based on, again, that scripture you shared with me, and not just that. But I don't know if this is gonna be the podcast about manifestation and stuff like that, but like how death and life is in the power of the tongue. We always talk about the death part, but it's like we should be speaking life. And again, not saying that you're not speaking life in that moment, but you have to be. If you're proclaiming that you're a Christian, you have to be careful of the people that surround you. And again, not saying that I'm trying not to curse because I want to be looked on as a Christian, but there's just a standard and a way that we should be moving in society. Yeah. And if society is deeming that as a word that quote unquote bad people, or
if it's wrong for society, it definitely should be wrong for us.
And that's what I'm trying to get to. So
the world should not be policing the church ever.
Definitely. But if society, again, there's you won't hear these words on the radio. You have to have a certain age limit to go watch these.
Let me push against that though, because much of society's standard for cursing and for nudity and all of that actually came from quote unquote Christian values, fundamentalist values, I would even say. Like, in the 1980s, the late 80s, when they started talking about censorship, much of what went behind that was the church. Like, it was white evangelical churches that were coming behind Nancy Reagan to kind of push this agenda. Even the explicit
that came from rap. I remember that.
Yeah. But that was Nancy Reagan, and Nancy Reagan was backed by people like Jerry Falwell and white evangelicals. So there is a Christian root to the standard that culture has even placed on us, which makes it even crazier because not only are you not living by the cultural standpoint, but you're not living by the historic Christian standpoint on, these particular things, cursing, nudity, all that type stuff. So, man, all of that is good, man. I think for me, I think about it in a couple of different ways. Like one is, I think about it on a heart level. So it's like, man, one or two things is happening. One is you don't know how to express yourself when certain situations come in life. So like, how do I help you see that there are better ways to express yourself? Right? Like how can I come alongside of you and show you like there are better ways to express yourself? And that applies to me too. There are some situations where I'm like, man, I'm not expressing myself the best way I could. The second part of that though is like limited vocabulary. Like so often we're just given such a limited vocabulary and we think, hey, I can just live by this limited vocabulary and this is the only way that makes sense to me because this is the only thing I know. And we just had that conversation about willful ignorance, right? Yeah. Like you can't be willfully ignorant. The second phase of that that I would want a Christian to see is like exactly what you said. Like words have power, right? So you talked about it earlier. You kind of quoted it, Proverbs, 18, where it says death and life is in the power of the tongue, right? And we kind of misuse that scripture a lot, but there's so much truth in that, right? Because what we express is usually what we live by. What we express is usually what we know and what we hold true, right? So that's what it means to say death and life is in the power of the tongue. You've met a person who speaks negatively, they usually see negativity in everything, right? Yeah. A person who speaks positively usually sees positivity in everything. So our speech does indeed matter. But when we're specifically talking about cuss words, right? Like there's so much evidence in the Bible against it. Like there's so many things. Like James talks about in James 3, watch your tongue. But he's not just talking about cussing, he's talking about gossip. Yeah. He's talking about like having ill words. And he does the Jesus thing. He says like whatever's coming out of your mouth is really a sign of your heart. Right. And Jesus says that too. Out of the mouth, the heart speaks, right? Oh, sorry, yeah. But you were about to quote it right. I just summarized it. Right?
Out of the abundance of the heart and the mouth speaks.
Exactly. So, but then like Paul, as he's breaking it down, this is kind of what we talked about before. Paul is basically saying like, don't use any type of abusive language. So a lot of this is Ephesians 4, Ephesians 5. He says, don't use abusive language. Don't use abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. And so often we don't even think about that. Like we don't think about how our language affects other people. Like it's my mouth. I say what I want to say. I do what I want to do. Yeah, but your words affect other people. Yep. So it's not just like death and life the power of the tongue gives death or life, right? It's death or life for other people too, not just yourself, right? But then Paul, he goes on, Ephesians 5 and 4, let there be no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor crude joking, which are out of place, but instead let there be thanksgiving. Now there's something I like about that. Paul never tells us stop cussing without giving us an alternative. Like just like earlier in Ephesians 4, he never tells us stop doing this without saying because you could be doing that. Just like Jesus, stop doing this because in doing this, you're not doing that, right? He's saying like let no filthiness, like crude joking, like foolish talk. Like foolish talk is like us just having foolish conversation that means nothing. It doesn't edify. It's empty. It's it concentrates on things that aren't positive, aren't godly. You know, that's foolish talk. And then that crude joking, like you and I talked about this, your mama jokes and you know, like y'all heard the story about me being in Memphis and like how the kids just be like with your blunt at ASS, you know, like yo, Ephesians 5:4. Like y'all need to pay attention to that, right? But here's what's even more powerful. I'm gonna wrap up with this, right? Paul outlines all of that in Ephesians 5:4 because earlier, verse 1 through 3, he has a basic concept that he wants all of us to get as Christians. And I would say all of us need to grab hold of this when we're thinking about using curse words in our regular language, in our artistry, and while we're interacting with people. He says, be imitators of God. Be imitators of God. Then he says, walk in love. And I'm summarizing, but he basically says, give yourself up to people. When you give yourself up to people or you give yourself over to God, it involves sacrifice. It involves saying, yo, this is what's most natural to me in this situation. But if I'm walking in love and giving myself over, I'll sacrifice the 4-letter word. Like the 4-letter word isn't even the most rich thing I could say right now. What's the most rich thing I can say right now is a word of faith, a word of love, a word of encouragement, a word of truth, a word of honor, right? Like, and I think that's kind of where we lose sight of how powerful our speech is, how powerful our language is.
So this episode, first off, it's a good episode. It didn't go how I wanted, and I actually want to thank the Holy Spirit.
How did you want it to go?
Oh, Byron knows. I was going to snap. I'm glad that it went this way. I don't know if we're done with it, but I do want to just put this out there for Christian rappers that's coming up in the game right now. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I just want to encourage some things. If you're not in the church, please get in the church. If you don't have a pastor that's shepherding over you and holding you accountable, please can you do that? It helps not just with your artistry, but to help you become a better man or woman of God and a better Christian. If I don't know if this is the case, this is just my assumption, but say you were rapping, you became a Christian and you already rapping and you feel like you could just make the switch that quick. I would encourage against that. Sit down again with the pastor, someone that you consider an elder. Understand what Christianity is. Understand the purpose of Christianity. Understand why you're a Christian. Get your identity fully immersed in God and Christ, and then make your music. Don't just, I'm a Christian now. I'm trying to live better. So as I'm trying to live better, I'm going to document that on music. Again, I don't know if people are doing this. That's just the assumption I'm getting for some of these artists. That's what it feels like. It's like, I used to rap. I'm a Christian now, so I'm going to just toe that line. And as I'm getting better, y'all just going to see the progression.
Right.
And I think I'm kind of saying that because I was at that place in one time. It's like, I'm just going to document everything on record. So it's like, as I'm struggling, you'll get to struggling. As everything's good, you're going, I would definitely encourage against that.
Most people aren't even really as encouraged in your progression as what you probably think they are.
Yeah.
Like that's real. Like we tend to like think, yo, I got to show people the progress because people will be motivated by that. I don't even know if that's true.
I think the only people, I'm just being honest, I think the only people that may be somewhat motivated is maybe some people in the world.
Maybe.
And that's a big maybe. The Christian community, they're more so concerned.
I want to see the fruit. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Hey, look, I think we hit some good points.
Yeah, we did.
Man. If you're a Christian rapper, like, hey, actually, I'm gonna let Ty just give that, but I'm just gonna speak to all of us as Christians, right? Like, one, I want to speak pastorally. If you curse, like, I'm not throwing no shade at you. Like, I don't have any ill feelings about you cursing. I would just say, hey, maybe that's an area of your life that needs to be every day submitted to the lordship of Jesus Christ, right? And we walk that out every single day. Make a standard for yourself. Like, I'm gonna curse less, or there are things I'm just gonna completely eliminate. And then for some of us who don't even curse, but we speak negatively or we have some bad language,
I'm guilty.
Yo, like let's identify those things and let's put all of that under the lordship of Jesus Christ. It's the same. Like, if you have hate in your heart, it's just as bad as you murder. And if you have evil words, it can be just as bad as doing some of the things against people or against yourself when you're speaking these things. Understand your words have power. There's life in them. And then here's the last thing. I don't like to be doom and gloom, but man, Matthew 12:36 says, on the day of judgment, that you will give an account for every careless word. Like Jesus said that. And if we're just going to live, let's like, hey, You want to throw religion out of the door, you can. The rapper, who was that? I'm not going to name his name, but the rapper who said, you know, yeah, you cursing my raps and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, I'm not religious. Well, this is outside of religion. Jesus said this. You'll give an account for every careless word. Do you want to stand in front of God and explain to him why you dropped the F-bomb after, you know, getting beat in Call of Duty? Because like, that's what we're going to have to do. Right? Like, just know that your words have power. And if we are Christians and we want to glorify God in every single thing that we do, it means we got to glorify God in our language.
And die to yourself. I think we missed that. It's a constant battle of dying to yourself. So again, as we said earlier in the podcast, when I hear, you know, these artists saying, look, I have to stay true to myself, you know, stay genuine to my art. When I hear that my and your, not your, but the my and I a lot, I just feel like you're not truly dying to yourself as you should. So just be careful of that. Before we go, just to show you, as Byron said, your words have power. It's kind of like a shameless plug, but my song, I Apologize, that came from, if you listen to the hook where I said, my uncle told me, never say you sorry, you God's child, and that forever held weight, I'm barred down. That was a true story. That's actually what inspired that song. I was like 6 years old. My uncle was in the Army. He's very strict. We were playing at my grandmother's house. I forgot what I was doing, but I remember just saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And my uncle went from playing, and he like instantly snapped and like looked at me and said, son, don't you ever say you're sorry, okay? You say you apologize. When you say you're sorry, you're telling yourself and speaking over yourself that you are sorry. He was like, you were not born to be sorry, and you are not sorry. So say, I apologize from now on. And those words literally held weight from when he said that. So as Byron was saying, your words can change people's lives. It can give life. That moment gave me life. As you can see, 25-something years later, I made a song about it. So it's like, I just want y'all rappers, artists, Christians, know that when you speak, you may not think you mean anything by it, but you don't know how people are taking your words in, and you don't want to be the reason why someone fell off because of something that you said. You had that responsibility. I know a lot of y'all don't want to take that, but y'all have that responsibility. So be cautious of that. Continue to make great art and continue to, above all, become a better man and woman to God daily. So your art resembles that. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Look, you can't bring it up without us playing it on the joint, and you know what that means? More plays for you. You know what I'm saying?
As long as you hit that 30-second mark.
Hey, hold on. We're going to let that jump play in the background. Yo, shout out to all of y'all for sticking with us. As you can see, we are expanding our episodes. Yeah. We're extending them a little bit. So if you listen to the end, shout out to you. We need to be following you. So drop your @ in the comments, and we will follow you. If you want to follow us, though, you can follow us at the Pastor Rapper Podcast, right?
Yeah.
On TikTok.
Instagram,
YouTube, all of that. If you want to follow me directly, my name is Will Smith. It's just WILL Smith. Oh. You can follow me on all. You can follow me at Byron L Cogdell on everything. But make sure if you're following me, you're following Identity Daytona as well. That's the church plant we get to serve. But if you want to follow Ty,
you can follow me. That's at I am Ty Van across the board on everything. The song that's playing right now is called I Apologize by me. You can find that on all streaming platforms. Put in Ty Van, I Apologize. If you like the music that I make, I'm pretty sure you like the music that the Christian hip hop collective I'm a part of makes. Follow them on everything. It's Crew, the number 4 Jesus, all in one word. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating if you like what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.